Hey everybody, welcome to Michigan Out of Doors. Thank you so much for joining us this week, and happy Thanksgiving, and we are excited about this week's show.
We sure are. We are going to show you all kinds of stuff that happened around the state for opening day of firearm season. Now, we'll save my thumb area story for a couple of weeks from now. We don't have time to show it all, but we are going to start out this week with opening day from the UP with Jordan Brown. He had a great hunt up there.
That's right, he really did, and we're excited for that story. We're also going to have my opening day from the Manistee National Forest area, a very cool tent camp there. And Gabe Van Warmer had a really kind of a very cool hunt with our good friend Bob Garner in the Mount Pleasant area. So lots of good stuff on this week's show, lots of good deer hunting. Make sure you stay tuned. I'm Jimmy Gretzinger.
And I'm Jenny Olson, and it's time for Michigan Out of Doors.
From the first spring rains to the soft summer breeze, dancing on the pine forest floor, the autumn colors catch your eyes. Here come the crystal winter skies. It's Michigan, Michigan out of doors. Someday our children all will see this is their finest legacy, the wonder and the love of Michigan. As the wind comes whispering through the trees, the sweet smell of nature's in the air. From the Great Lakes to the quiet stream, shining like a sportsman's dream, it's a love of Michigan we all share.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Greenstone Farm Credit Services, making recreational land ownership possible across Michigan and northeast Wisconsin. Begin your land financing journey at one of Greenstone's 37 locations or visit greenstonefcs.com. By Meyer, a destination for hunting, fishing, and camping. From bug spray and tents to GPS and gas, Meyer has nearly everything you need to take on nature and get you there. Meyer. By Showspan, producing consumer shows including the Ultimate Fishing Show, Detroit, January 8th through 11th at Novi's Suburban Collection Showplace. The show features fishing tackle, fishing trips, fishing boats, and seminars on all Michigan game fish. The Ultimate Fishing Show, Novi, January 8th through 11th. By Country Smokehouse, offering a variety of meat products. Country Smokehouse is located 3 miles south of I-69 on M53, just south of Imlay City. Country Smokehouse is a meat processor, a butcher, and a destination for sportsmen.
Hi, I'm Jordan Brown, and we kick off this week's show up here at Deer Camp in the UP for the first couple days of the firearm deer season here in Menominee County. The 2014 firearm opener had me headed north to the UP for the first few days of season, hunting at a camp in Menominee County that's been around for quite some time.
This particular camp here was built in 1925 by a neighboring farmer and his son. They built it for 4 gentlemen down in Menominee, Michigan, and they used this camp for many years. In the early 60s, the farmer's son was able to buy this piece of property from some of the widows of the original owners, and he owned it until the early 90s, where my partner Dave and I were able to purchase the camp, and we have now been the owners since the mid-90s.
Although this camp has seen a few renovations over the last 90 years, it's still supported by the original walls built in 1925. This area of the state is known for its deer hunting, and despite a couple of rough winters, good habitat and plenty of food have kept the deer numbers in pretty good shape.
We're situated here basically north and south in the middle of Menominee County, about 10 miles off of Green Bay, Lake Michigan, and we are pretty much in a cedar swamp area with farm ridges. A lot of agriculture in this particular area of the county, and it really makes for very good deer habitat. They have the cedar swamps for the winter protection. They have the grain fields and the hay fields for feed purposes, and we generally have a fairly decent amount of deer. Probably 12, 15 years ago, we had some very, very high numbers, too high a numbers for the farmers' purposes and for ours. And now we've gotten, I believe, into a much more stable deer herd We still can go out on opening day and see, 10 or 15 deer. Some of us see more, some of us a few less, but it's just really nice to be able to see them and enjoy them.
After a big breakfast, I hit the woods with Ryan Bersma for the opening morning hunt in a one-of-a-kind blind that he and Don built several years ago.
Don and I were out turkey hunting one spring, and he said, we have to put a blind back here. There's an old junky blind that needs to be replaced. So we went back there, and we just decided up on that little hill, the lower we got to the ground, the better we could see underneath all the cedars. And so we decided to start digging a hole, and we thought we'd be some type of pit blind, but we ended up calling it the bunker. It's the bottom half is all concrete. I got 29 bags of concrete in the floor, and then it's got 5 courses of cement block, and then it just comes out of the ground a few feet so that you can see good.
The view from the blind was pretty neat, but I immediately realized that filming was going to be a bit difficult. We were limited to only a handful of shooting lanes that allowed us very little time to actually get the camera on a deer. But that's all part of the game when you hunt this kind of habitat.
You get usually, I always kid because I see a lot of the front halves of deers, but I see a lot more of the back half of a deer, because as you're checking the different lanes, all of a sudden there's a deer there, and a lot of times at 100 yards that lane is only a half a deer wide, and so if you're not lucky enough to be looking down the lane right when it steps out, you see the second half to begin with, and then you try to actually judge body size so that when you get to the next lane you have an idea. It was easier with 2 of us today. We could one could watch the lane and the other could be watching back behind trying to pick it out, but it's different. It's not like wide open field hunting for certain.
Well, by mid-morning we found ourselves in a pretty good position to be in. There was a doe in heat in the area that had already brought by 2 smaller bucks, and we knew it was just a matter of time until a bigger buck showed up to join the chase. Sure enough, a little after 9 we had a nice buck walk by. Now we just had to decide if he was a shooter and see if we could get a shot.
What is it?
He's a 8, kind of a wider one.
I'm gonna take him if I get a shot. Are you on him?
I'm on him, yeah. Just tell me right before you're gonna shoot.
I need another step.
Okay, let him get just on the other side of the tree, and then go. Once he's on the other side of the feeder, go ahead.
Okay.
If you can shoot over the other one. No. Wait. I can't get him. Can you see the doe? Go ahead. Oh, he's coming toward this. He's gonna be in this shooting lane. This one. Left. There he is. Was that the doe or is that him? Oh, that's him. Nice job.
Stole him.
I wasn't sure when you were gonna shoot, but I got him.
Did you?
I was rolling, yep. Nice job. Looks like a nice buck.
Well, we were sitting here, had a spike come through and a doe. Actually, the doe came through first, and then the spike came through, and that little button buck that we got some footage of has been down there the whole time. And all of a sudden, we saw a deer flick through a lane, and then saw another one, and thought we saw antlers. We weren't real sure, and then it came back through, going east again. And I said it was a rack. I didn't know how big it was. And then the doe came back in, and then the buck followed, came through the opening right behind the feeder there with the tin on the tree. And Jordan says, don't shoot, because I had the opening, but he didn't for the camera. And then he saw it coming to the next lane, and it came in, circled around a little bit, was going to go back, check out that doe, and dropped him right there, and nothing else to say. Are you ready to go see what it is? Sure. Go. guy's a warrior. That one's broke. That one's broke. That one's broke.
Well, we walked down here. We gave it about an hour. Turns out to be an 8-pointer. It's got 4 broken tines, but must have been battling a little bit. And there's a few bigger bucks around, but overall, it's been a good morning. We've seen 4 bucks, 2 different forkhorns, and a spike, and then this one. So it's been a successful morning.
We hunted for the rest of the day, and although we did see a couple of small bucks at night, we never did see another buck big enough to shoot. When we arrived back to camp, we found out that we weren't the only successful hunters on opening day. Dave Wickstorm, one of the owners of the camp, had tagged a nice buck and a bonus coyote to go along with it. And although we were the only 2 successful hunters on opening day, that's not what deer camp in the UP is all about.
Hunting in the UP is just a great experience. Living here, having the opportunity to raise my family here and enjoy camp, and the opportunities that the UP brings us for recreation is just a really valuable aspect. And hunting here is hunting at home, and it is enjoyable for all of us. It's a great opportunity to connect better with friends and family, and we just appreciate the opportunity we have to be here in this area, have this camp, and share it with as many people as are willing to come.
Deer camp is a special place, and when it's in the UP, at a cabin that's nearly 90 years old, and you're able to hang a few bucks from the pole, well, that's pretty hard to beat. Special thanks to Don and Dave, as well as everyone else in camp, for letting me tag along on the first few days of gun season here in Michigan's Out of Doors.
Well, here we are. It is November the 14th, the day before the deer opener, and we have cameras spreading out all over the state. We're going to have one in the UP. Jordan's going to be up there. Gabe's going to be kind of in central lower peninsula. I'm going to be in the northwest, and Jenny's going to be over in the thumb. November the 14th is always a lot of fun. I'm heading to a deer camp. I kind of know one of the guys at camp, so it'll be kind of fun to get to meet some of these guys and just see what their tent camp's like. A lot of times you got to go to way northern Michigan or into the UP to get to a tent camp, and we're going to be in the Manistee National Forest, so we will see what we've got for sleeping conditions and what we've got, more importantly, for deer hunting conditions. My opener took me to the woods of the Manistee National Forest, one of the more unique tent camps, well, that I've ever seen. Jeff Nyland has been part of this camp for nearly 30 years, and after seeing just how cool this place was from the inside, I was curious to know how this camp ever got started.
Basically by 2 families. One was my brother, and then one other family, which was the Barron's family, how the camp actually started. Originated in 1985. Okay. The tent itself started in about 1989, and from there on forth, about 25 years of the tent. We missed a couple of years in between that with the other family going to Baldwin, which incorporated my family, which my son, nephew, my brother's brother-in-law, and then my best friend Tom. I think the biggest thing about deer hunting, and especially the camp, is basically camaraderie. I mean, we come up here for a week to 10 days. It's not that simple. It puts us as together as like a team. We all, during the whole season, whole summer, whole year, work together on this camp and on this tent. And then we generate that day to come up and set it up. We all have our jobs to do. It's an all-day process to set the tent. Every day throughout the year, we're talking about what we can do to improve it. And it's really just being together. I mean, that's the biggest thing of this camp. It's not necessarily the harvest, but the biggest thing is camaraderie, family, friends, new people, people that stop by the camp constant because they know the camp. And that's probably the most important thing to us.
Well, it's about 10 o'clock in the morning. Well, we got our sandwiches on the little heater. Because so far that has been the highlight of the morning. Hearing a few shots around here, not a lot. Tom says that this is pretty common, not a lot of shooting on the first day. We're pretty far in. We're about, what'd you say, about a mile in? So there's not much pressure here. We're hoping that as the day moves on that some of these bucks will filter back in here. We're kind of on the edge of a swamp. Beautiful spot. Perfect, cold, calm, clear morning. We're just missing one thing. The deer. I was sitting with Tom Achterhoff for the opener. We had almost nothing to show for our efforts until early afternoon. 3 doe came flying through, and that would be the bulk of our excitement for the day. We did have a few deer filter through at dark, but it was a pretty quiet opening day overall. Back at camp that night, the guys had a nice ceremony where they officially welcomed me into camp with a t-shirt, hat, and a koozie. These guys had a tough day of hunting here on public land, but they made up for it in camaraderie, let me tell you that. Folks from all over the area came for the legendary opening night dinner, and everyone had their fill. It was a great day. Day 2, I would be sitting with Jeff, about a mile back in off the road like most of their blinds, and with 4 or 5 inches of new snow, we had a great view and a buck working its way in. Oh, that's a buck. That might be a big enough buck, I'm not sure. Can you see it? Oh, yeah, he's big enough. Let me know if you're going to shoot. Yeah, there's a lot of trees. Well, that buck never gave Jeff the standing shot he was looking for, and with enough cover to get in the way, that buck slowly walked out of our lives. So close. With just the 2 days to hunt, that would be it. The guys did hang 3 does the week prior to the gun season with their bows, but that would be it for the gun season. We had a great time, and let me say, this is one tent camp I hope to return to. Great guys, great food, and great camaraderie here in Michigan's Out of Doors.
Well, I am on my way up north, and we are headed to Isabella County and to a deer camp that I've been looking forward to for many months. It is with Ken Kelly of Magnaport and Bob Garner. It's going to be a good time. The Willie Deer Camp is not your average northern Michigan deer camp. Tucked away on a dirt road in Isabella County sits one of the coolest deer camps I've ever been a part of. Comprising over 650 acres and surrounded by other camps that all practice some form of deer management, the Willie not only offers the great camaraderie of deer camp, but also a chance at a truly great Michigan buck. Bob Garner has been to this camp many a time and describes this special place.
It's really funny because the McClinics have owned this since in the 50s. Gene bought it, John's dad, in the 50s, and they never changed the name to the McClinic Camp or anything. They call it the Willie because it used to be a sheep ranch, and it's just special. I mean, they fly the American flag. There's patriotism. There's good guys. There's fun and frivolity and all that sort of stuff. And they've taken this unique approach to deer management where if instead of telling you can't shoot anything unless it's got 3 points or 2 points, and whatever, you can shoot 1 buck a year if you're invited to camp, and you can shoot any buck you want, but you have to shoulder mount it and bring it back to camp for a year. Well, you can tell what that's done for big buck numbers around here. It's one of these places, if you stay around long enough, you'll see plenty of deer, you'll see bucks, but you have a chance at seeing old rocking chair come walking in too. So
Opening day is always a special day here in Michigan. Anticipation is high, and spending it with friends makes the hunts even better. When good friend Ken Kelly said he had an invite to hunt at the Willie, I jumped at the opportunity to sit in a blind with him for a couple of days. You see, Ken is one of the most generous, good-hearted guys you'll ever meet. He's carried on his father's business at Magnaport and has hunted all over the world with a handgun. The morning dawned with fresh snow on the ground, and deer started moving right off the bat.
Oh, we got a nice little buck come out here, probably a little 3-point.
Although we saw a lot of deer in the distance in our 2 days of hunting together, these two bucks were the only two deer that decided to come in close enough for the camera. As always, Ken and I swapped stories and had a great time hanging out in the blind. But over in another blind, Bob Garner, sitting with his good friend John McClintock, was able to get off a shot at a great Michigan buck.
Gosh. Look at this deer. Oh my gosh. Look at that deer. John, you all know this is the biggest Michigan buck I've ever shot. What a nice deer.
How long have we been looking for this guy?
Well, I shot my biggest Michigan buck 39 years ago. It's my 48th season. 48 opening days in a row. I've never had an opening day like this one. And just using my 25-06 that Ken Kelly from Magnaport customized for me. And I've used that gun for years. I'm so awestruck. I mean, this is awesome. This is just awesome. That's all there is to it.
Well, I was a little concerned about your shot placement, but it turned out to be perfect. As always.
Well, there's a great deal of luck in it. Mother Garner didn't raise the best shooter in the world, but I've done well for my handicap. So
congratulations, my man. Oh,
Johnny,
man, that was great.
Johnny, without you, none of this is even possible. But I'm very appreciative. I'm very grateful.
Well, I can't think of anybody more deserving to get a beautiful deer like this.
This is a beautiful deer.
Yep,
look how big it is. Oh man.
Yep.
Oh.
In a camp like this, it's all about sharing the hunt. The stories of this hunt will last a lifetime for all involved. For this reason, we all go to deer camp. Good friends, great stories, and once in a while a deer is put on the pole. Special thanks to John McClintock for his hospitality and making sure the hunting tradition is passed on for generations at the Willie.
Thanks for joining us for Michigan Out of Doors this Thanksgiving weekend. We hope you all have a happy holiday weekend. And make sure you check us out online when you get a chance. You can do it a couple of different ways on our website at MichiganOutofDoorsTV.com or on our Facebook page at Michigan Out of Doors TV.
That's right, and we do have a lot of good wintertime activity coming over the next few weeks, but next week we have a very special kind of an hour-long look back at Michigan Outdoors, Michigan Out of Doors. It's going to be a statewide thing that PBS is doing, so make sure that you join us next week right here on your PBS station.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Jay's Sporting Goods with locations in Clare and Gaylord. Jay's, serving the Michigan outdoor enthusiast since 1971 with a wide variety of outdoor products. The gear, the knowledge, the tradition of Jay's on the web at jayssportinggoods.com. By Chappelle, providing sleds, shelters, and accessories for your time on the ice. Chappelle offers a line of pop-ups, flipovers, and the Bay Runner, a mobile cabin with a shelf for electronics and a sliding seat. On the web at chappelle.com. By Propane, exceptional energy. Propane retailers promote the safe use of Michigan-produced gas energy in homes, farms, and businesses across our great state. Learn more at usemichiganpropane.com. By Meyer, a destination for hunting, fishing, and camping. From bug spray and tents to GPS and gas, Meyer has nearly everything you need to take on nature and get you there. Meyer. Closed captioning is brought to you by Propane, exceptional energy. Propane retailers promote the safe use of Michigan-produced gas to outdoor enthusiasts across our great state.
When I wander far away, a dream stays with me night and day. It's the road that leads to my home state. I am a Michigan man. Changing seasons paint the scene like rainbow trout in a hidden stream. The white-tailed deer in the tall pine trees. I am a Michigan man. I am a Michigan man. Ask where I'm from and I'll show you my hands. Lord above, I love this land. I am a Michigan man. From the Keweenaw down to St. Joe, Kalamazoo, east to Monroe, to St. Marie and back again. I am a Michigan man. I am a Michigan man. Ask where I'm from and I'll show you my hands. Lord above, I love